Some of you, actually most of you probably don't know me in this room. Some of you may know me as a talk radio personality. Others may know me from lobbying up on the Hill in Tennessee here. Others may know me as the president of a nonprofit called Biblically Conservative. And I think most might know me from doing grassroots engagement work for the last 2 years here. My name is Grant Henry, by the way, right? But regardless of how you know me, tonight is really about y'all. And I think back to December when I was doing some grassroots work with this group, Americans for Prosperity, that I work for. We were knocking doors in Georgia. It's last December, in Ringgold, Georgia. It's about 40 or 50 of us down there. Actually, a few of you were down there with us, I believe, right? If you don't know anything about Ringgold, Georgia is God's country. It is. And I'm pretty sure there's more hills per capita in Ringgold, Georgia than anywhere else in the entire United States. The problem with Ringgold, Georgia is every other door you go to, it's about a quarter mile up the driveway and 2 flights of stairs to get to the top floor, yeah? So this one door in particular, I'm walking up to the top. I'm completely winded by the time I get up there. And I see the front door is standing open and that porch door is sitting right there. And I can see down the long hallway the homeowner is sitting there in a lazy boy watching television. I'm completely winded by the time I get up there, so I'm huffing and puffing. And he turns and makes eye contact with me before he can even knock on the door. And keep in mind, we're knocking for sitting Senator David Perdue at the time. And this guy, 6'4", 6'5", comes barreling through that screen door, whips it open, hits the banister. I almost tumbled down the back of these stairs, and I'm holding these things in my sleeve, and it's big David Perdue face right there. And he turns to me and says, "Listen, buddy, listen, I like your guy. I'm supporting your guy, but there ain't no way I'm voting." And he proceeds to launch into this 15-minute tirade about how he doesn't trust the system anymore. His vote's not going to count. He's not going to show up. He's just not going to participate. And I think then it hit me all at once what it is that we're dealing with as conservatives, at least at that time. We were experiencing a sense of existential dread. Why do I exist? What do I mean in the political realm anymore? What does our presence matter anymore? How do we get involved to actually make a difference? And can our voices even be heard again? And the more I focused on these problems, the more I attempted to find solutions. And the more I attempted to find solutions, the more depressed I became. So I eventually turned to God, and I found encouragement. I quickly realized that there was a purpose behind this state of turmoil that we're currently in right now. There's a calling in the chaos. There is a calling to make order out of this chaos. These are the times that are meant to build character, to build strength, to test our resolve. These are the times that are meant to show the enemy what we are made of. These are the most important times to be alive, to hold the values that we hold right now. The world needs bold truth tellers now more than ever. I'm hoping to be a sense of encouragement to you all tonight. As I was getting ready for talking here tonight, I thought back about, do y'all remember in the mid-'80s when these scientists were making these biodomes out in the deserts? Right? Weird analogy, but follow me here for a minute. They sent these scientists out there, and they lived there for 6 months or a year, and everything worked. It was all operable, except the trees. They couldn't figure out how to get the trees to grow past a certain point. They would grow and fall over, until one scientist eventually introduced some wind. And when they introduced wind to the trees grew roots. You understand what I'm saying? These political winds that we're in right now are helping to grow the community roots that is Willamson Families, that is this community right now. So I'm calling you to consider, how are you going to contribute? Will you help run for office? Will you help vet political candidates? Will you support candidates? Will you donate to this cause? There's this term called anti-fragility. It's a big term. It's talking about us as humans. The first time I came across this was in a book called The Coddling of the American Mind. And in that book, Jonathan Haidt tries to figure out what happened at our universities, why colleges are producing such weak people. I'm sorry if there's any college kids out there. I was one myself at some point, right? But anti-fragility is a term that's opposite from what they're speaking on college campuses right now. It is the opposite of safe spaces. It's the opposite of the idea that you're a perpetual victim. It is the opposite of you being coddled because you are a fragile being. Anti-fragility says it is because of life's stressors, shocks, and volatility that we grow. In fact, it is the tumultuous times that are the only things that are truly creating progress. There is a multitude of neuroscientific data to support this very notion. And understand, we're not just merely rigid beings. We don't just merely return to the state that we once were. It's not like a plastic cup that you knock off the edge of a banister and it returns to its previous form. Anti-fragility is beyond resilience and robustness. See, the resilient resists shock and stays the same.
The anti-fragile gets better. We are anti-fragile. Conservatives and conservatism is an anti-fragile ideology. Willamson County is comprised of anti-fragile people. Nicholas Taleb said it this way: wind extinguishes a candle but energizes a fire. We should desire to be the fire and wish for the wind. Now, moreover, this pursuit to turn chaos into order, or to bring sanity back to our school systems, or to reintroduce some rationality back into the legislature, this is where true meaning comes from. I'm feeling as lost as probably everybody else in this room right now, how it comes to our political climate. But I would argue that God has blessed us with this time right now as an opportunity to properly respond and to genuinely find purpose in these tumultuous times. This is what Viktor Frankl meant when he said life is about finding meaning and purpose. It's not like power, as Adler told us. It's not pleasure, as Freud told us. What truly is meaningful is finding purpose in your life. This is what Frankl said. What man's actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal, a freely chosen task. What he needs is not the discharge of tension at any cost, but the call of a potential meeting waiting to be fulfilled by him. That is our charge, to take up the call to do something worthwhile right here, right now. Now is the time to be alive, to present this message of hope and truth that we know that we have. Sometimes I feel like I'm giving the Spider-Man pitch to people. You know, I tell them with great power comes great responsibility, right? I feel like I'm giving all you the Spider-Man pitch right now, but I'm sincere when I ask, how are you using your God-given gift to positively influence the community around you? Most of you in this room will not have the luxury of sitting this one out. We need you too much. This community needs you too much, and that's what it's about. It's about building community, serving our community, and contributing to a community that can create a sustainable culture that is capable of cultivating the best citizenry this country has ever seen. You see, we have a winning message. It's time to deliver on that message. We have a message that is distinctly different than those on the other side, that the way that a liberal governs and this ideology of governance is rooted in one of dependence and subjugation. It's not loving. See, on the contrary, it enslaves people by insinuating that you are less than you are. The liberal message is one that says that you are a liability that needs to be taken care of. You are a perpetual victim. You must be coddled. You must constantly and continually subsist upon the government for handout. Liberal compassion is not love. It's belittling. It's demeaning. It's dehumanizing. Right? Conversely, however, on the other side of that coin, the message of conservatism is one that inspires hope. It's a message that is underlined by a Judeo-Christian ethic that says that each individual has value and purpose. You are strong. You are capable. You are powerful. You are capable of accomplishing your goals. You can start that small business. You can start that community organization. You can start that PAC. You can run for office. You can dream, accomplish your goals, and dream again. You are chosen. Some of us in this room quite literally believe that the creator of the universe has chosen you, and specifically you, for a task that only you are capable of accomplishing. It's the message of empowerment and purpose that Viktor Frankl was only grasping at. It's the message of a body of believers. One is the head, one is the foot, one is the hand, and we all need each other to be functioning properly. It's a message of communal support and alliance. Again, it is a purpose-driven message that we have as conservatives, a message that compels an individual by faith to get out in his community and start producing works for the betterment of all people. It's a message that changes hearts and minds while helping to enact societal change that physically improves our lives and the lives of those around us. This is the winning message of conservatism. This is the message that our community groups, that y'all, need to infuse back into the political process. So as I wrap here, I am calling all of you right now to consider, in these tumultuous times that require the participation of anti-fragile conservatives, how are you going to contribute? Will you run for office? Will you vet potential candidates? Will you support those candidates? Will you donate to the cause? And conveniently enough, you can do that right over there. You know?